Yes, I think we can maybe jump on Elise here together.
Yeah.
Everything jumping.
See me top. I have TP 20. I don't have TP.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that. So look bot as well. Bot. Yes.
We can. This turn. Turn together. Flash turn and
Help me.
Try to help me. I no flash.
He's dead.
Yeah, Velvet behind.
Yeah, kill them all.
Velvet behind.
No flash action.
Just do Nash.
He will dash.
Do the dash out.
It's Donia. Okay. Nice.
And welcome back to the LEC. BDS versus G2 is on, and we're on to the final game now. The winner moves on to battle against Mad Lions for a spot in the playoffs tomorrow, and the loser moves down to the lower bracket of the group stage. We had an amazing day so far, back-to-back 3 games, but are we going to have a surprise this time around?
I mean, we had it in the first one where Twitch Casher all of a sudden come out, and we're watching G2 right now, so I'm not willing to drop the ball on that one. We could be surprised. I think we're already pleasantly surprised with what BDS just showed us in this game too.
It was an amazing game, honestly, and I'm really curious as to how they turned it around, and I think draft was a big factor here, Ender.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just coming in right off the bat, they were able to get the Elise into their hands, which I think made them very, very happy in terms of playing out the game. They were also able to amass a bit of a lead early on.
Yeah, and I think they said it multiple times on the broadcast as well, but the fact that they had this range diff that they could play around gave so much freedom to Nuke as well. I think Sheo had a phenomenal early game where he facilitated the carries you really needed. Adam, once again, was thriving on the Olaf, playing against a triple melee top side of the map as well. And all of a sudden, you know, it just felt like when BDS finally had that early game lead, they weren't really able to miss the mark this time in the mid to late game.
No, it just wasn't going to happen. Like, no matter which angle G2 came at them from, I think it was really hard for G2 to actually find a kill at the start of a fight. I think one of the smart things BDS did in terms of itemization was both mid and jungle went for very early Zonias. So second item Zonias on the Elise, third item on the Azir. And what it meant is when you're playing 4 melee champions that have to jump in, dive in, and hit you in the face, Jax, Sylas are going into the enemy lines, but then there's no one they can hit. The targets they're trying to find are just not doing anything, so the Zeri gets to free fire from the back line.
And you can see there, like, Nuke's damage charts, it's just off the records here, and you know, you can see the goal graph, it's pure BDS as well. Objectives, 3 Mountain Drakes, just to add insult to the injury that's already there. You're not killing any of them, and you can see it here as well with Nuke, 78% of that kill participation, and the damage per minute, almost up towards the 1k, but the 890, that's beautiful.
And he played beautifully, honestly, Miro. Yeah, set up with the way BDS drafted here, and I'm really intrigued as to the decisions G2 made here. I understand that Yike likes to play different champions, but the Sheo Elise into Yike Belveth matchup, I'm not sure of how he could have landed.
No, I mean, it also got off to a really rough start because the whole game started off with the sort of tower dive around mid that BDS were looking for. That turned into a skirmish where they got a kill, and then G2 decided to run in on the enemy side and try to fight them, go for that classic invade style that Yike likes to go for, but there was the immediate response in terms of the roam from the Lulu, and everything got shut down.
Yeah, I really like the fact that actually Shears was so patient around that mid tower dive. That's really what set it off in the beginning. He started off by trying to take a Raptors. It didn't work. He then waited for Yike to start the Crocs and came in from the left side of the map once again. And for G2, you expect that Elises will move over to the right of the map where Mikyx trying to come in as a backup. And here, this is no longer in BDS. This is just straight up G2 overreaching.
Yeah, I mean, they can't get the initial one-shot onto the Elise because, of course, there's the repel. They also thought that Labrov was running down towards bot side. They saw him go over a ward, but that doesn't matter because he just turned around. He had enough time to get in there. Then this play as well. Mikyx thinks he does something. No. The absolute one-shot of Sork Shoes plus the Hex Tech component and the Electrocute just annihilates Mickey right there. The power of the Elise gives you so much option to look for these early tower dives, and any sort of skirmish or moment that you land the cocoon, you're going to take 80% of someone's health bar.
Man, this generation of jungle rookies, man, is really coming well together. And also the rivalry between Yike and Sheo, you know it well from the LFL as well.
I want to say LFL junglers.
Yeah, okay. He's from Sweden, all right? That's Scandinavia. You can't just claim that.
I have no horse in this race.
Hey, Cody's son played LFL.
That's true. I love Cody.
We don't talk about Cody's son in the FL, but I mean, we set the stage for this matchup, especially given the fact that Yike and Sheo are both super active in the early game. This was a display of this once again. I'm really curious as to what the third game is going to be about. G2, of course, picked blue side here.
Naturally.
Let's talk about the first draft maybe and what they play into seeing what they could run back here.
Well, I
maybe,
think the
and
first little surprise in that Game 1 draft when G2 were on blue is that they went for the Jax first pick, which Jax is a very strong top laner. You can definitely blind pick the champion, but I think against BDS, you don't have to go that early for the Jax, right? Like, Adam wants to play one of his funky picks into the Jax regardless, so I think they would be relatively happy. But at the same time, G2's strategy in this draft was ban out hard on the bot lane and look, I think, to try and get counterpick as much as they could for that bot lane, so they were comfortable showing those solo lanes blind.
Yeah, I think they're not going to give away the Lulu Seri as well. Like, Labrov didn't have to go in on an engaged champion, and he could just rely on Crownie as well, so they look way more comfortable not having that engaged option in the bot lane. And I'm kind of with you here, because like, there's a value in the Jax pick that I currently don't see. There's also no bans on Adam's champion pool, and Adam's champion pool is currently what's good into these champion. We saw it with the Garen, although they couldn't turn that into a victory, but we also see it once again with the Olaf, so curious to see it. I think a lot of the potential, or a lot of the pressure, still has to go down towards the bot side. A lot of it was towards the mid lane this time around with the Elise, but it wasn't really about top lane for me at all.
It wasn't, but yet again, I mean, Dylan was saying that he was not really scared of what Adam could do here, but maybe throwing some bans top lane, even though we set up I don't know. I don't know. Or
He's
maybe
got like 3 different top lane champions that he'll play into the Jax now too. So I mean, you can't like ban that out is what I'm trying to say. He has more champions he can play outside of the pocket picks as well. What I do think that BDS can do to change things a little bit in this draft is if we see them take the Sejuani again, which I think is entirely possible, and the Lillia comes through, I think that second phase of 2 melee champions that want to be stacking, you know, HP items or HP bruiser items in Garen's case, I don't think you want to take as low range of a comp versus Lillia.
Yeah, I mean, also just the big thing that really benefits G2 right now on blue side is the fact that you no longer have to worry about banning Elise yourself. So you know you're not going to play against that with Sheo again. You ban the same Heimerdinger, Ashe, Caitlyn, the same we saw from earlier as well. And then it's on BDS to ban Elise, because if they don't, that will just be picked up from Yike, and then he's the one who's going to try and do what Sheo exactly did here. So that already limits it. And then it comes over to your discussion as well with the Sejuani, with the Lillia as well. I still think Seju is fine. Maybe you come in with a different game plan, knowing that you don't want to play full low range into the Lillia then. The Azir look great on BDS, so you can pick that on 3, start banning away some of the champions that Caps like to play. I think if BDS allows themselves to play with longer range, then they allow themselves to have an easier time as well and not draft themselves into some of the champions that G2 likes to play.
I think too that like G2 are going to be thinking about the range conversation, because that was a bit of an issue in this last game for them. And one of the picks that I might like to see Yike go into is the Kindred that we saw Bo pull out yesterday. I think that's a great answer, especially if BDS want to play some of the more hard engaged champions like the Sejuani on the opposite side, and gives them a lot of options later into the team fights.
I have one last question here, and it's more about side selection itself. It's been vastly dominated by blue side wins today, and I'm curious as to team's preparation coming into red side and what you think of it as a whole.
Right now, to me, every time blue side is OP is when there's too many OPs that you need to ban away. But I actually think it's quite flexible, because I think it changes from team to team when who is forced to ban what. Right now, G2 is banning a lot of bot laners. I don't necessarily think they would do that if they're not playing against Crownie and Labrov. I think it's quite flexible, and I think the leverage of what a side can give you will actually be different from team to team we currently have in the LEC.
I do also think blue side sort of gets to determine a few different things as well in terms of like, are we going to see jungle bans mirrored on both sides? Like if blue side bans a Maokai or Sejuani, you can usually expect red side to go ahead and match that type of a thing. I think G2 have put themselves in a position where they are happy leaving a lot of those junglers open, and that allows them to really attack bot lane. I think that's the main thing. Are you going to attack bot lane with bans, or are you going to attack the jungle pool with bans? Yike has such a wild pool and different things he can play into it. He is perfectly happy to leave a lot of those OPs up and take one of his more comfort picks.
It's going to be really interesting coming into this last game. Last hit on predictions, maybe. Do you think BDS can do it, or is G2, the usual G2, being angry now and just taking the whole thing?
Yeah, I think G2 just takes it. I think once again it comes back to whoever loses the game before just have an advantage going into the next one, and that's also what we've seen so far as well. So I'm going to have to put G2 on this one, but I think that BDS will put up a hell of a fight for it.
100% win rate on blue side so far. We'll see if it stays this way or if BDS can turn it around as we toss to casters for game 3. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Laure. Thank you, Desk. G2 predictions there.
BDS enjoyers Giga Chad.
I think that this prediction gets significantly easier once you see the draft, though. I will say that.
Yeah. I want to see Darius for Adam.
We talked about this.
It would be the trifecta, wouldn't it?
Now that he's added Garen to the champion pool,
tell it to me.
His champions pool can spell God, Garen, Olaf, Darius, or dog Darius, Olaf, Garen, which I feel appropriate.
Yeah.
Because we've seen the great games, the God games, where, you know,
He's popping off. He's
Adam
1v3,
pops off, takes
he's
over
in
the game.
back line.
We've seen the dog games where he just kind of stands there
And he can't do
as
anything.
Garen and
Yep.
spins and does nothing.
Yep.
And so I'm just, it would feel appropriate thematically, narratively, in terms of writing the next LEC script, something to consider.
Yep.
Will it
Definitely.
actually happen? I don't know. They banned it last time.
Yeah.
Once they opted for the early Jax. But you heard it from the desk. Don't need to opt for Jax that early on the side of G2. We'll see if they opt to do it anyway. Ash banned away, and I expect we'll see a lot of the same early bans here.
Does G2 first pick the Jax? Does BDS ban it away? How do they play around this Jax? I don't think BrokenBlade's Jax has been a huge standout. I think Adam's been able to suppress it and deal with it quite easily. And I think what Guldborg was saying on the desk is completely true. I think in terms of range and scaling, if BDS can just keep G2 at arm's length, just keep them under control and avoid these fights, and they're in a good spot. G2 don't really ever go for scaling. So it's just about avoiding the fight rather than fighting fire with fire, which has worked so far.
Olaf banned.
Yep.
We're getting closer to Darius every moment
Ooh, we're
for the
gonna-
narrative.
Getting excited.
I will also say that whenever a team's back is against the wall and they have to must win a game, I really like when top laners pick Sion. I know it's not great. I know it means accepting just losing the lane horribly, and it's probably miserable to play, but we've seen historically through all the years of European League of Legends, it's not gonna happen. They're first picking Jax again, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I'll just say that tanks front to back.
Oh, he's teasing us with it. I think if they're going to pick it, they wouldn't pick it this early on. Are they going to go for the Sejuani run back? I'm just waiting patiently. So it's going to be Karma for now. Likely they go for some kind of Karma flex, I hope. Unless they want to play some kind of Karma lane with an Ezreal. We'll see what direction they go in, but Sejuani makes the most sense. Take that away.
I just look at power traded here in the first rotation, and Jax on paper is a champion that can be really powerful, but hasn't looked it yet this series. Sejuani we know can be
running it
impactful.
back.
Karma,
Yep.
but hey, you're right. Game one, run it back one more time. You've got the Lillia, you've got the Jayce. The Jayce was not banned this time around by Team BDS, so G2 Esports laying down the gauntlet. Now, Ryze, if they want to match this again, but you can see maybe a little bit of frustration, some thought on the side of BDS.
Knowing that G2 are blue side, they should know that G2 might run this back, so they should have a plan for this. They should have something prepared. Looks like they're going to go Ryze for now. Maybe they change up the bot lane situation. Do they take away the Kai'Sa this time around to stop this kind of percent HP brute force damage with poke? I think Kalista is another champ that I'd be a little bit worried about. That could be another ban that they opt into. How do they play around this Karma as well? Is it going top for Adam? I doubt it, you know.
Nautilus this time. Last time they banned Kalista Lucian in the second phase.
So this time they think the enablers are the problem rather than the AD carries. So Nautilus, Leona, maybe something along those lines is something that they want to ban away. Could also work with Alistar, Kalista Alistar if they want to go that direction. We'll see how G2 dissects the draft. Do they want to ban away top laners, you know? Is Garen worth a ban here? It worked out in game one. It didn't really merit much in the end, but it was winning the lane. Do they just drop a Garen Darius ban and say, hey, we're not going to deal with anything? And then does he go towards the Sion? Looks like they're going to target bot, so G2 confident. Dylan said it in the interview with Trouble. We're fine. If we have Jax, I think we can keep Adam under control.
Looking to limit his impact on the map. Again, not prioritizing banning out any of those champions. Instead, bot lane focus, the name of the game thus far for both sides. Mikyx pretty impactful on Nautilus. So limiting that option, taking away the Karma Ezreal pairing.
Yeah.
Now, final ban for BDS here. It is going to be the Lucian. Not concerned about the Kalista without the Nautilus on the table, it would seem, or at least concerned less about it. Keep in mind, Lucian Nami is still up and available.
Yeah, no, Lucian Nami taken away, of course, because the Lucian ban.
Yeah, sorry, was still up and available prior to the Lucian
You're right in saying that things are OP. Like, Zeri is still available, right? You can still go for a hyper carry for Hans. They could also go for some kind of crazy Ziggs Leona bot side if they want to get some kind of poke going. Last ban here for G2, Sivir would make sense, but she is quite short range. Maybe they're happy playing against it, but they are going to take away the Zeri to stop the Zeri Karma. Now, what does Crownie play? We've seen his Jhin a couple times, supporting the top side of the map. They definitely need to carry. The Caitlyn is still up, completely overlooked that. Now, does G2 go towards a Varus lane here to negate that power of the pushing lane of Caitlyn Karma? Do they go for a kill lane to just try to brute force level 1?
And I think it's difficult because Varus has not looked good in LEC. On paper, it is such a powerful champion. Yes, it has a solid lane matchup into most AD carries, good push, whether it's support or marksman, as we've seen. It is going to get locked in here, but this is a champion that, when it's doing great, it looks wonderful, but if you're not getting a lot of impact out of it, it's going to feel pretty bad. I imagine it has to be the poke. Varus could go on hit here with some of the short-range champions, but Mikyx, it would seem for now, sticking to the hard engage options.
Yeah, Leona, Mumu would be the hard engage options. For range supports, There's not really much left unless they want to go Heimerdinger or...
Heimer's banned too.
Yeah,
Ashe is banned. They've limited so many of the options.
What does want to go? Yeah, Leona makes sense. A lot of poke, a lot of team fight.
Great all-in, obviously, with Leona's passive plus the Varus burst early on.
What is he cooking? What has Adam got in store for us? Could go towards the Renekton. Darius, not sure how it would pair up into their comp, but...
Sounds actually horrible against Lillia. Sounds like actually the worst option against Lillia.
Yeah, so I think he's got a really strong bot side. I wouldn't mind something like a Scion or anything, just weak side, but he's going to go for the Renekton. Play up against BrokenBlade's Jax, but I think BDS's main focus now is this Caitlyn Karma lane. Because of course, Leona, if they can get some kind of wave that they can play on, they can have a 3v2, they can push the Caitlyn on the tower, she's going to be vulnerable to dives. This Caitlyn just wants to keep the push next to the Karma, play through bot into mid or mid into bot, just make sure this side of the map is strong enough. We saw Labrov play pretty well last game in terms of just keeping the push, making sure he's around, walking up with Lulu constantly, trying to find information. So it's on Sheo, Crownie, and Labrov this game. I think Nuke and Adam have shown that they're capable of dealing with BrokenBlade and Caps quite handily. And yeah, this is it. All cards on the table for the best of 3.
We've talked a lot about range advantages, and if Varus does opt to go for the poke build, then G2 have a pretty significant one. Getting a lead, breaking down an early mid lane tower would make this game so hard for BDS to play out, but they have Renekton and Sejuani on the top side. They have Caitlyn, Karma in the bottom lane. They are set up to take over early game, to not let G2 get to that point, but they have to execute on it. They can't afford any sloppy mistakes. They can't let Yike get ahead again.
Really strong champs for BDS in terms of meta-orientated. Need to see Nuke get out of lane and start roaming around as well. Impact both these sides. BDS have a lot of options to play for. G2, we know exactly what their draft's capable of. Very similar to game 1, just the Varus will be more poke-orientated rather than having the Kai'Sa dive in. So we'll see if they can dismantle BDS with the poke game.
And we got time for us to get into the final game of the series. BDS versus G2 Esports.
He's a player that have his own pocket.
Thank you very much to go to the Striker for joining me. First question that I have for you is that I spoke to Dylan in the previous draft and he said we were not expecting Olaf. Adam is a great Olaf. How did you guys end up picking it? Was it Adam saying, you know what, give it to me, I'll carry?
I mean, he has always an angle for Olaf, so I mean, I think they just like kinda didn't like disrespect him towards that. I think it was a really good angle and we just took him. Then he smashed it. That's easy.
Absolutely, he did. Now, when it comes to this game, the whole 3 picks are very similar to game number 1 that you guys lost versus G2. How did you adapt on this draft?
I mean, we knew that they probably put us on red side again, right? And for us, it was kind of thinking about what they could change and what they would like to probably prioritize again because they won with it and try to draft around it. So it was just some anticipation. And I think we are pretty happy with the draft that we got. It's kind of the same theme, but I think we have overall a stronger early game now.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Good luck in the game. Drakos and Caedrel, back to you.
Thank you so much, Trouble. Good insight to hear. I like it. Felt like they disrespected Adam a little bit, but I also like what they talked about having just more early game power, more early game agency here. BrokenBlade still playing with a lot of confidence on the top side of the map, but if this BDS draft can get ahead early on, it makes it so difficult for G2 to play this out, especially on the bottom side, where Mikyx, yes, he has that all-in engage threat when a jungler's in the area, but when there's not a jungler around, Labrov and Crownie should just take over this lane.
My eyes are on Yike, because he needs to figure out a way to stop this BDS bot side from pushing. He's going to go towards red now, and last time we saw him go top side and then just start full clearing. Does he want to do that again? Or does he want to try to punish this bot side and just accept that the Varus will be put behind, give up the push and try to get BrokenBlade ahead, play around caps, get the top side rolling? Does he walk into Sheo's jungle here?
Yeah.
Has information. He has a ward on Sheo's red. He saw him do it. He saw him move to Crux. Looks like he's going to match that top side, and Sheo will be on a ward here. BrokenBlade will just respect it for now.
He's going to sweep that one out, but both these junglers, both these LFL junglers showing up big. You know what I mean? Game 1 was the Yike show. Game 2, Sheo did so much to set up Nuke for success, to set up Crownie for success, to really make this work for the team overall. So it's natural, I feel, that in Game 3, we look at the junglers to be the difference makers for their respective teams.
Yep.
That said, you know, Sejuani not the big flashy early game playmaker like Elise is. Yike back onto his Game 1 champion. but it's kind of hard to replicate results that are that explosive from Yike.
Definitely. Hang on a second. Flash in
Getting
already.
aggressive is going to get Zenith Blade down. Ignite now taking Mikyx trying to back up. Caps bringing him in. Mickey ticking, burning. The Ignite won't quite finish him off, but Sheo should be able to get the job done. Crownie going to get knocked down. First blood, crucially, split second off from going in the favor of BDS as Sheo does take down Mikyx and make it a 1-for-1.
How did Caps get down here so quickly? Just pushed in 3 mid waves, it looks like, and just ran straight bot. Got the all-in going, and now no summoners on the bot lane of BDS. It's going to make it really hard for this Caitlyn Karma to push in and punish the Varus, who also has his summoners up. Sheo will need to play around that lane to keep them safe now. BrokenBlade looking straight onto Adam. Will just dash away, but good roam from Caps. I think they come out ahead here, G2. Adam.
Continuing to trade here. Just a bit of back and forth as BrokenBlade going to try to extend the trade, but Adam, the Conqueror now up and available, means BrokenBlade will back away. Bottom side, though, you highlighted already. Summoners down. We talked about it yesterday. We saw how quickly Caitlyn lanes fell apart in the Vitality series. Have to see if Crownie Labrov can do better, if they can survive until they have those spells back off cooldown.
Yeah, it looks like they'll give the push for now while they get a stack wave pushing in. Caps big trade onto Nuke. He's gonna have the TP back here, but does he try and catch the wave first? Be a bit greedy. Looks like he's just gonna take the recall. Yike just taking away the second Raptor respawn of Sheo. This pink ward working wonders here with Mickey having no flash. That might just be a kill if they can get the trap down.
Lock up, cleanse available for Onsama, but they're just not committing any resources into him, instead turning onto Mikyx. But Mickey playing with so much patience.
Wow. Didn't get the CC chain, they couldn't get the trap just out of range. Now they can 2v3 them. This just gives Yike so much time to work with. Will take a reset. I think the Krugs are spawning. Does he just stop the recall and take them? Looks like he decides against it. Sheo will have to base, and I think BDS have a decent spot in mid because Nuke is just TP'd back and Cap still needs a recall. But they need to figure out a way to get Crownie back in this, get the push going again, get this Caitlyn rolling.
Caps, of course, giving up his TP to return to lane earlier means that Nuke can force the wave in and threatens to deny Caps some CS, but Caps, even without any mana, is going to return to lane to catch this wave. So Caps has no trade threat until he does get a chance to recall. Now fully committing, though. Yike in the area. Labrov has to be careful. Stunned and now landing. Managed hit with one. Yike is very fast. Labrov going to get taken out. Yike going to grab another kill here. Conqueror procced, and Yike takes out Labrov.
Yeah, this Caitlyn Karma is basically falling apart at this point. Yike's just able to punish Labrov, trying to push Mickey away. Sheo still around this bot side, recalled and came back down here, but bit too late. We'll spot out Yike. Can look to chunk him out a little bit, but I'm not sure if there's a threat of a kill unless Nuke can get in range. Yike still has the flash.
Aftershock procced. Good damage here. Needs one more stun, but it's going to need a lot more time before that's off cooldown. It's Adam and BrokenBlade trade back and forth on the top side, but BrokenBlade does a lot of damage, flashing back into the brush. Adam trying to buy time, but surely BrokenBlade should get this one. That's going to be the kill to BrokenBlade, and it is all falling apart for BDS in the early game.
So G2 now, top's winning, bot's in a stable point and should be able to start pushing the BDS bot lane away, and Sheo is behind. Caps punishing on the level 3 roam down. Gonna look for a dragon here because, of course, just saw Yike, has to push him out, makes him go towards the top side of the map, has that mid push, so he should secure this first objective. But like you said, side lanes falling apart slowly. Adam, hang on, Caps can get dove here. I think he might die.
Caps going forward, trying to get some damage down on the nuke, but Labrov beautifully tanks the tower aggro there. Yike might try to run him down, but it's hard. Shouldn't be able to kill the Karma here with Nuke in the area. So clean kill, clean dive to the side of BDS.
Good kill. Sheo should get this dragon. Does get a little bit hairy sometimes with the E auto smite. He's fine. But yeah, gold is even, you know? Adam is up 10 CS right now, so despite getting solo kill, it's only 100 gold lead over to BrokenBlade. Nuke has now punished Caps in his head-in experience, and Labrov able to make a roam work. So not out of the game just yet, despite G2 getting those early kills. The plan A is kind of failed. They need to look for a plan B here, and it looks like they're trying to go through mid.
And again, we have Labrov unlocked to roam to make things happen in the mid lane, punishing or responding, getting a bit of revenge onto Caps after Caps came bot lane earlier. But the concern, just like game 1, is G2, when they get the lead, they have a massive range advantage. It's very hard for BDS to play this game out, so BDS can't stop at just trading even and evening up the gold lead. They need to find big advantages here in the early game to make sure that G2 can never get their feet underneath them in the mid game.
Caps just constantly trying to roam around, get some information for Hans and Mickey. Level 6 on Varus. If an ult hits the Karma, she's as good as dead, so Labrov and Crownie need to probably just give up the push now. Leona and Varus are going to be a bit too strong, and allowing Leona to move around the map is going to be a bit of a horror for BDS to deal with. Nuke's never going to be able to push mid. This is the bot to mid pressure that they're going to have to respect. You can even look for dives if Yike can get down here. This Leona is going to be really strong. Will be pushed back for now.
Yeah, and a big struggle too as well is with the lethality Varus. It's so easy to play at arm's length from the opposing bottom lane, and Karma really only has hard CC if you can stay right on top of somebody. So the kill threat without a jungler in the area onto Hansama, if Mikyx does roam, it's not non-existent, but it's very limited. That's just going to make it that much harder for BDS to get a lot done. Despite that, though, Labrov happy to just handshake on leaving the lane. Showing his face once again in mid lane. Just backing up Nuke, Sheo in the area as well. Could be a 3v3. Both sides posturing, but neither side going to overcommit.
Mikyx on the way. I think BDS are calling that support's missing, and because Adam's catching top wave, it would be a 4v3 then in favor of G2. BrokenBlade starting up the Herald. He's going to drop it to cover mid, puts a ward down, Hans winning out in the bot side. All he has to do is push in waves and just try to land Qs on the Crownie, slowly chip away at his health bar. And it's just really hard for Crownie to respond. What can he really do? If he walks up, he's going to get ulted, chunked out even more. So BDS's way of band-aiding. Hang on a second. Adam pops the ult.
Has enough Fury to heal just a little bit, but pretty meager at this point in the game. Yike and BrokenBlade now on the way up. Flash in from Yike, dash out from Adam. Good that he's able to get the flash from Yike and survive. BDS now seeing this as an opportunity to start up the Herald.
Yike's really low on mana, so maybe they think that this is, despite having a numbers disadvantage in a sense, where BrokenBlade can collapse, they should be able to win out. Crownie's coming from base on the way, Hans is moving up. I don't think G2 are done with this play. Maybe they look for any kind of kills on the exit, but they're gonna, I think Mikyx can just look for a flash in here. Just
looking to commit, they're gonna try to take the objective away. Can they get it in the end? Caps grabs the Herald. I think he did it in game 1 too. He just keeps making it happen. Yike burning, ticking, getting knocked down. Nuke gonna grab that kill. It's big for Nuke, but he will trade his life for it in the end. G2 still grabbing the Herald, and Hansama now stepping in, but Crownie's on the way forward. Once the root connects, he's gonna get caught in the trap. The cleanse comes out just in time. Hansama making it work, and Caps on the hunt now for Crownie. Massive Jayce damage coming in. Thundering blow back into Mikyx. What a clean combo, but no, Crownie cleanse out to safety. He desperately wants to get the kill back, but he doesn't quite have the damage. Mikyx will grab the kill.
So unlucky for Crownie. He almost got Caps as well, but he didn't land the E, and Hans gets away too. Everyone escapes on such low health bars. G2 get the Herald, they get 3 or 4 kills, and now this early game is snowballing out of control. G2 are going to come back from base and start contesting this dragon that's spawning in a minute's time, but Mikyx, just watch what he does here. Flash Q onto Sheo, then lands the ult on top of it. Then once he's dead, he eats through the Sejuani to get onto Nuke. Nuke then will try to ult away because he realizes he's in trouble, but he gets stunned straight up. Yike does fall because he has nowhere to go. But G2 win out on the top side fight, and Hans is stuck between the bot lane of BDS, but the burst is just so strong with the Jayce EQ, and the ult from the Varus just bursts him down. The E from Crownie didn't land on the Hans, so he can't get the auto attack. Caps dodges out on the trap, knocks him into Mikyx, and then he tries to flash the Varus Q. One auto doesn't do it, and it's just so unlucky for Crownie. Can't land the Q either. One kill there would have been not the end of the world, but now he's lost his summoners. He gets nothing.
Pixels off of a double kill outplay. If the net hits there, if the auto, 5 more AD, maybe he instantly managed to grab 2, but because he doesn't, it just adds insult to injury. Now about 19k to 16.5. BrokenBlade in trouble here though, not a lot of mana. Red buff finding a bit of healing. Yike in the area. Massive now. Adam's going to be in trouble. The sleep can come out, he hits both. Watch out, Eep, not even needed. Quick kill, now Sheo's gonna be in trouble. One more kill going over to G2. BDS are punching well, but the counter punches coming out from G2 are brutal.
Caps is just everywhere right now, roaming around the map, getting so much mid push. Nuke's on the way, but this tower is gonna take a lot of damage. Not sure if they can get the full thing, but a lot of plates over to the solo lanes of G2. Crownie's in mid trying to push in the waves, but Hans is on his way to respond. So yeah, G2 just running away with it right now, winning out on every single skirmish. BDS, we heard Striker talk about the fact that they have more early game, and so they want to contest these fights a little bit in the earlier stages of the game, but it's G2 who's just finding the advantages, winning out on every lane.
Caps unleashed in this game, trading so aggressively on the Nuke, getting that first blood on the bottom side of the map, getting the early serrated Dirk, and just punishing this Ryze. Nuke scaling up, he's getting some kills back, he's got the Rod of Ages, but Caps really showing up in match point here in the best of 3. Absolutely the factor that allowed G2 to break this early game open.
And now they're in some kind of 1-3-1 setup. BrokenBlade has the TP, will be unleashed in 2 minutes. Caps can trade onto Nuke if he wants to. Nuke has the flash, needs to be careful though. Labrov is on the way, Yike's moving up, Mikyx's moving up, Hans is moving up. Quick trade, gets him low, now he's calling for a dive. Team is on the way. Adam has the TP if he wants to cover, but G2 aren't done, they want to keep forcing.
Yike slowed down there. Good mantra Q coming out from Labrov to get a little bit more space. Caps grabbing more plates though, more and more money in the back pocket of Jayce. He hasn't even backed and bought an item yet.
Oh, he hasn't. And where's the cross map from BDS? It looks like they're going to start up this dragon. They were posturing for some kind of gank onto BrokenBlade, but he's just playing really safe. He knows where his team is, and he plays around it correctly. So the map is so scattered right now. Everyone's just kind of all over the place.
Hitting onto Adam, Ignite already ticking down. He's going to try to ult his way out of this one, but he just doesn't have enough space to work with. Yike going to finish the job there.
Yeah.
G2 out of nowhere in complete control of this game. Flash in, Crownie no room to play. Hansama gonna finish it off with the Q, the piercing arrow, and Sheo getting chased down as well. How long in the leaf start? Cloud Rift for the extra movement speed. Sheo now running out to safety, flashing out, and BDS losing fight after fight, summoner after summoner. The Gold League growing more and more in the favor of G2. This is the G2 mid-game, fully unleashed. There is nothing left for BDS on the map right now. The TP coming in, a desperate attempt, trying to hold on to some kind of control here as Adam will back up Nuke in the mid lane.
The map is in just such a messy state for BDS. Nuke was top, Adam was on mid waves as Renekton getting pushed in. They had no pryos to work around, they just had to play to cover. And G2 just don't take their foot off the gas, they just base, instantly start forcing. And this is the problem when you play up against a team like G2, 7,000 gold lead now in 13 minutes. The second they started getting a lead in one lane, they transition into other lanes so quickly. Caps to bot, and then bot and mid to top after BrokenBlade gets a solo kill. And now it's a really dire situation for BDS. They can try and hold on, but it's not like they have any kind of huge outscaling. Caps has flash. Sheo doesn't have the ultimate yet.
Big potential. No shutdown here on Caps, actually, but they're still going to try to force for this kill. Yike now going in to go for the three-man sleep. Mickey on the way, and time for a little watch-out. Eat big damage onto Labrov. Now Labrov now getting run down in Caps with Mikyx backing him up. They're going to try to finish off Nuke before the fight even really breaks out. They can't kill Yike, and Yike is killing everybody else in return. Just look at him go, tearing through them, put them to sleep. Yike, another double for the G2 jungler.
It's rough, isn't it? BDS can't even do a play of their own. And now all their towers are just going to start falling all around them. This game 3, G2 aren't here to mess around. They want to get this series done and get to the next best of 3 next weekend. G2 going to get this mid tower. Crownie almost gets hit by the Zenith. And Mickey just ult him for fun, I think, just showing dominance in this game. Yeah, tower will fall. Adam might get a top tower in response. Probably an objective bounty as well. But yeah, grasping at straws here, BDS.
And I think it's difficult. You came in ready to fight fire with fire in the early game. A single roam down from Caps breaks your bot lane plan. And it just kind of fell apart from there. You can see here with Caps.
Yeah.
BDS clearly looking to collapse, looking to get the pick, but Yike in the perfect place at the perfect time.
Has flashed this whole time as well, Caps. He's absolutely safe. Three-man sleep. This is one that, you know, everyone's asleep. A follow-up is so easy. TSM didn't manage to pull it off, but G2 will. And Yike here trying to get Labrov, will eat the honey fruit to live. But yeah, so much movement speed, he can chase him down. Sheo knows he's dead, just stand still. And yeah, I think this might be a done one here. BDS, the only real way back in is just committing 4 or 5 members every single time for a single kill, but even then it's just really hard. You can see Adam's not even laning top anymore, he just knows they have to do something.
Yeah, desperation times, trying to force picks, trying to get anything done. Caps is going to break open a tier 2 in exchange, not even for this tier 1. So I don't think BDS can realistically dive BrokenBlade at this stage of the game.
Caps can get a top tier 2 right now.
Yeah.
BDS just...
There's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't. There's times in casters where when you're a caster and you want to give people the benefit of the doubt and you want to say, hey, they can make the miracle happen. But miracle is the word for it if BDS can make this happen. And it's not just a miracle, it's G2 making big mistakes. They are 10k gold in the lead at 16 minutes, Caedrel. He hasn't hit a shot blast this game, and it does not matter. He cannot EQ and cannon form, but he's got hammer form, and that's all he needs. Caps with a double.
1v2 is the bot lane of BDS between towers at tier 3s at 16 minutes in. Herald popped. Caps can TP back here if he wants to just keep the game going, but yeah, the Herald will crash. Looks like G2 will run away. And yeah, you're right. This is just it's just a victory lap for G2, having a bit of fun. Yeah, and bless BDS, they're trying, but almost at 12,000 gold lead now in 16 minutes.
And this is, and again, they can fish. And at this point, if you see BDS make crazy plays and you're like, wow, that's griefing, they don't have another choice. There are no good plays
Big TP
left.
flank though, Drakos, look.
Maybe this is the one.
From downtown.
Maybe they can 3v1 this Jax. Nope, there's a TP. BrokenBlade ignited. Can they get the kill? They should just be able to lock him up and take him out. BrokenBlade now trying to run a safety. Massive shutdown. A small glimmer of hope as BDS bring it back to a 10k gold deficit.
You're selling me on it, Drakos. A small glimmer of hope.
It's the smallest glimmer.
It's fading.
It's like a little single piece of glitter on the ground, but there is a piece of glitter, Caedrel. And there can be more glitter if they keep catching members of G2 out.
Yeah, I won't disagree with you on that one. I mean, they need a hell of a lot more of it. Here comes G2, though.
Okay.
Ryze ult out.
Time to escape from the city. Follow your rainbow, BDS. They make it out. That's a Sonic Adventure 2 battle reference.
Banger.
For you boomers in the crowd.
Banger game. First map, first adventure.
Escape from the city, OG.
San Francisco.
Love
going
it.
down the hills, collecting all the coins.
Yep.
Great
BDS, a lot of coin collecting necessary. So I want to come back.
I think they're kind of like getting beaten up at lunch and they're getting their coins taken
I mean, this is
from
the
them.
problem is like game 1, little back and forth, G2 dominating, range advantage, whatever. Game 2, BDS controlled, collective. But this is the thing, and one of the things that makes G2 so scary is sometimes they just show up, they get a small lead in the early game, they blow the game open in the mid game, and then you're just waiting for them to kill you. And that's it's difficult, because I still think BDS deserve a lot of praise and recognition for that second game, and maybe for this pick onto Caps.
Another piece of glitter. That's 2. Shut down onto Crownie. Maybe they can get an item off of that. If BF sort of something gets towards an IE, see what he does.
But G2 do need to chill a little bit.
Do they? Here they go.
Maybe
just
not.
gonna fight a bit more.
Mikyx just
gonna
flashing
flash
over the wall. Adam, they're trying to take his glitter away. He just wants a gold star, G2. Leave him alone.
No stars today, G2. Just dismantling BDS.
Yep.
It's just Caps is laughing. He knows it's just destruction. Hans is laughing.
You blocked my mid laner on Facebook.
Now you're going to die.
Yeah, there it is.
Taken out straight away there, Adam. Mikyx helping out. Flashing over. He's ready to go home. Wants to get this done with. Dragon will fall. Stops the soul point for BDS. And I think what will happen here is G2 will just reset, go towards Baron, start it up, force BDS to walk into them, and put them to sleep.
Here we go. League of Legends. Still happening. 19 minutes, 25 seconds, 18-5, 10K gold lead for G2 Esports.
Okay, maybe.
Confident showing here in game 3 thus
be
far.
Here,
Labrov, Mikyx. Labrov now flashing out. Yike is one very fast fawn lady. Going in, big damage on the Labrov. Labrov trying to find the root. They're TPing in. They're ready for a fight. Labrov surely going to fall here as soon as Caps gets in range. Labrov taking down. He doesn't even get the chance. Yike just cutting through him. Hansama on the side. Turning Gale forcing forward. They want to kill Hansama so bad, but they do not have the damage. Sheo praying for the presidential turkey pardon, but he will not get it. He's just taken out in the pin. G2 going to flawlessly transition to Baron.
It's because he turned into a pig, not a turkey. He can't get the pardon if he's not a turkey.
Can't get it. It's not Thanksgiving.
Adams just gonna have a little look around. Go on, just send it. Just ult in the pit and just try to flip a steal. Go on, Adam. Let's see it. Adam. Yeah, there goes the glitter.
But he had to try, because why not?
Why not? It's not like the game's winnable, is it? You can see him laughing.
And the thing to remember is, you're not out here. You have more best of 3s. You have best of 3s next weekend. Yes, it sucks to lose double Elim. You've used one of your Elims now if you're BDS if you lose this series, which is looking likely at this point. But got to keep a positive attitude. The season is not over yet, even if this game is feeling pretty donezo.
A little bit to take away from this series, perhaps BDS, in how they want to find their win conditions. Early game seems a bit tough, especially against a team like G2, and there's not much to say here, is there? Yike just flashed sleepy time. Nowhere for Nuke to go, and I mean, they tried their best to kill Hans, but this is just brutal. Not a single kill for them, and then we're back to live. G2 at Baron. BDS trying to find a Grump, and well, that's their frog mate.
Yep. They're going to scoot on out of that one into the waiting arms of BrokenBlade, who will twirl his staff and do nothing.
And
G2.
leave.
And leave.
And leave with a nice gracious jump to his little ward. Adam, is he just going to go for the mid-wave? Just proxy it in their face? No, he's not. Not feeling too frisky. Trap set up for Crownie. I think his auto attacks on the traps will
not hurt that much.
No, a little scratch maybe. Next wave, I think G2 will start to push in. BrokenBlade's pushing in mid. Massive gold lead here to G2, and yeah, it's really hard. I mean, they have to fight. It's the only real way to stop the siege from happening, but Nuke's not even here. Maybe he can TP behind some wards, but yeah, BrokenBlade just kind of 1v3ing them right now. Push in bot. Inhib's gonna fall.
Adam's gonna die.
Adam's gonna die.
There he goes.
There he goes. And yeah, G2, maybe they can end through bot. No, they're not going to do it. Yeah, maybe they are freeing it. 22 minutes in, see if they can look for the Nexus. Not much BDS can do. They can't even walk up. Crownie's got the swirling seed on him. He could get put to sleep in a second.
Nope.
And they're going to go for mid, get a couple more creeps in here. I think that's it.
This is probably the game. G2 are ludicrously far ahead. 14K gold, 16K gold, 16K gold.
Mathematics.
Not looking great here. Crownie going to get locked up. Nice dash backwards. Cleanse Gale Force back into the base. Crownie standing tall for now, but he is going to go night-night. Sleepy time and big damage. Good night to Crownie. Have to hope for next week. Adam, desperate to turn it back, but they do too much damage.
Not a kill. Not a single kill. No fountain dive. This is not the G2 I know.
G2 taking the series.
That was brutal, yeah.
Game 1 and 2, back and forth. Game 3, the G2 show from start to finish on the back of a surprise Jayce gank in the early game, shutting down the game plan of BDS. Credit to G2 for finding that avenue, but of course the last 10 minutes of gameplay, sadly just a foregone conclusion as G2 were simply too far ahead.
Yeah, the Caitlyn Karma lane kind of fell apart, and because of the roam from caps and then the Varus Leona gets pushed, they just rotate all around the map and there's not really much BDS can do to respond. They're trying their best to hold on, but if you give up everything, then what's the point in the first place, right? They may as well try to take some camps, try to take some fights. At least play to win, don't play not to lose, right? High fives all around for G2.
Yeah. Weird one to end it on. Back and forth, nail biter kind of until that game 3. And again, these kind of things can happen. You can't have a blowout in game 3. Have to see how BDS recover coming into the next week. I think Mad and G2 playing tomorrow to see who can exit the group 2-0. We'll go toe-to-toe against the winner of Vitality versus Koi in our first playoffs best of 5 as well. So big stakes in the games tomorrow.
Yep.
And for the teams that have lost on their first day, that have lost their best of 3, they get that extra week to recover, to recoup, to focus for their upcoming elimination game.
Yeah, back to the drawing board, figure things out, and try to get to those best of 5s. Split only has 2 more weeks left after tomorrow.
Yeah, wild.
Crazy. Such a quick pace split.
And then we start again.
And then we go 1 week break, straight into the next one, and then straight to MSI, and then straight into the next split. So very fast paced. These players need to make sure they're on the ball, on the meta, figuring out, innovating, keeping up the practice.
It's brutal. Again, this is a grueling schedule. Players best of 1 right into best of 3. And yeah, it can all fall apart so quickly. But again, luxury for all of the teams that have made top 8. They can afford to lose a single best of 3. So the road not done for any of the teams thus far.
Yep. Setting up for an interview with BrokenBlade and Yike, see what they have to say about that series. I think there's a lot that they can take away from game 2. Yeah. Figure out things, see how they
I don't know if there's a lot they can take away from game 3. That said, you had options for player of the game. You can check those out on Twitter.
Yep.
In the meantime, let's set it over to the interview where BrokenBlade stares me eye to eye with a very sultry look.
His
Take
smile,
away.
that damn smile.
Thank you very
smile.
much, Drakos. BrokenBlade, Yike, thank you for joining me. Congrats on the win as well. Now, I want some first impressions for this particular series. Let's start with you, BB, because it looked pretty close until it didn't in the last game.
Yeah, it was a nice series. Actually, all the series that have been played so far were like 3 games, I think. So it's like kind of exciting to play. I think we still have to get, you know, into the rhythm of BO3s. It's something new, right? I do think we got to, like after we lost, the next game was really, like dominating, right? So I'm happy about that. Yeah, I played really well on Lillia. So very happy with that as well.
Thank you.
And your expectations for the series, Yike?
Yeah, I mean, I like this new format with best of 3s. I think it's really exciting. And yeah, like BB said, like all matches were like 3 games. And I think that's like really exciting to watch. I think everyone watching, like when we watched all the games, it was like really fun to watch. And I hope people enjoyed watching this game. So, yeah.
There you go, they absolutely did. Now, BB, I want to dive a little bit into the whole, you know, G2 era and what it feels like to play for G2. Because it's been a joke around, like, there's unrealistic expectations always for G2 as an org, and if G2 loses, then G2 played like trash, but if G2 wins, it's just expected. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I think it's funny because, I mean, G2 just is an organization that is winning a lot, not only in League of Legends, right? So, I mean, obviously we're expected to win. And
just when I am Katowice.
We also expect ourselves to win against anyone because that's the mindset we have, I guess, on the team. That's why we're all here. That's why we're all together with Yike as well. Just very, very nice environment. Everybody's really trying to be the best version of themselves. So I'm very happy with how it is, I guess. Yeah.
I've been seeing you chatting a lot and you look at Yike, you're making him feel very comfortable. Yike, playing this best of series, first one for your LEC career as well. How has it been having all these veterans around you to guide you through?
Yeah, so I guess in the beginning it was got a bit scary because yeah, I'm playing with 4 veterans who's been playing for like so long and they're like really talented all 4. So I was a bit scared, but when I met them and started playing with them, like scrims and everything, I feel like it's like they're the same as everyone. Like I think we're all the same. We have the same mindset. I feel like I don't feel like a rookie in this team. I feel like I'm not a veteran, but I feel like, I'm part of the team in that way. And it's like, if it's really easy for us to play, and I'm really happy with that.
Absolutely. And Bibi, what would you take from Yike joining G2? What is that one positive attribute that you're like, oh, this guy brought this to the team? It's really cool.
What Yike brought to the team is he's very, how do you say it? His champion pool is very large, so we can play a lot of different team comps. And for top lane, it's really good to be able to, have good top jungle combos, right? And in these 2 games, we had the Jayce Lillia combo, for example. And obviously, just to play it is not enough, right? Especially if you want to be the best. Playing it very, very good is needed if you want to win every game, if you want to win LEC. And I think Yike is trying his hardest to always be on top of his game, right? Just like everyone else, really. And I think that is like really, really important. Also, I mean, she came into the team, didn't act like any rookie I've ever played with before. It's like he's been playing for so long, right? Just like the rest of us. So that's a very good attribute as well, I would say.
It's great to have you give praises to your jungler now.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you set up the champion pool because that was my next question. Thank you very much, Bibi.
No problem.
Now, when it comes to G2, they've allowed you to explore all your picks. Your Bel'Veth was 90% win rate until today, but it's fine. It was still really good. But your Lillia absolutely popped off in the 2 games. I don't know if production can please put up in the lower third your stats, but it was insane. What is the communication like when you're asking to be the carry for this G2 lineup?
Yeah, I mean, the communication is pretty easy. I feel like everyone trusts me when I say I want to play a champ, like Lillia, for example. And it feels like everyone just listens to me when I make calls and all of that. And like first game, for example, I was like 3-0, and I feel like I could take over the game with the comms and all. And yeah, that's why I feel like it's easy. And yeah, as I said, they trust me really well, so it's like really easy for me to play.
Does this unlock any pressure off of you, for example, Caps? Like, because you've got Handsama, Caps, BrokenBlade, Yike, everyone can carry at any particular moment. Does this maybe relieve some of the pressure of you having to do it sometimes?
I mean, I think having that in the back of your head is like, oh, I can play really aggressive, I can play to take risks. And even if it fails, you know that the other side of the map is going to probably do well, So it gives you a lot of confidence to play however you want. It gives you just a lot of freedom. I think it's the best word to use in your playstyle. And I think everybody in the team knows that if someone is playing like that, we will take advantage of that, right? So it's just, again, very nice feeling to have this roster.
Yeah, you guys are a multi-threat team in every single lane. Now, real quick question right here. Tomorrow, you are going to be facing Mad. Real quick words about the series. Yike, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all want to take our revenge on Mad because they beat us kind of hard last time. It probably our worst loss. So yeah, I'm really excited to play against them again. And I feel like we will come much more prepared. And I feel like we'll play much better. So it's going to be a good game. Agreed, Bibi?
Yeah, I mean, playing against Mad made me really mad. It's not the game we wanted to play. So I'm sure we're going to have a lot better showing in the game. And hopefully it's not going to be 3 games, but 2.
True.
All right, 2 games then versus Mad. We'll hold you to that. Well, thank you very much, Bibi and Yike, for joining me. We'll send it over to PGL, where Drakos and Enda are joined by Caps.